Welcome back to campus, Aztecs. As we begin an exciting year, it is important to go over NCAA rules and their impact on your eligibility. At San Diego State University, we believe in promoting an atmosphere of compliance, and that starts with you. Please remember that all student athletes are subject to NCAA, conference, and institutional rules and regulations. Have a great year and go Aztecs!
Tipped out by Azundu to Jeremy Hensley. Drives, puts it up, got it, and he was fouled. Just knows where the ball is going to be, you know what I mean? That's what you got to do. Malik, the trailer for three. Good!
We must complete and submit all of our own work to professors. The integrity of the institution is at stake when it comes to academics, and we all must do our own part to protect it. Student athletes are required to be enrolled full-time and complete a certain amount of credits towards a degree to remain eligible for competition. Based on your year in school, you must meet a certain percentage of degree hours and earn at least a 2.0 GPA. Football student athletes must pass 9 credits in the fall to be eligible for the next season, and baseball student athletes must be eligible in the fall to compete in the spring.
If any of us have a job, we must submit a student-athlete employment approval form through ACS. We may be paid for duties actually performed and at the same going rate as other employees in the same position. Your employer may not use your name, image, or likeness to promote their business. If we give private lessons, SDSU facilities may not be used. While we may not run our own camp or clinic, we may be employed at them throughout the year.
Pritchard. They go to Cage, and she ends it. Alexis Cage, just inside the line, wraps it up for San Diego State. Beautiful shot by Cage. Just her 4th kill of the match, but it's the final one today.
You may not enter into any form of agreement with an agent, runner, or advisor to be represented either now or in the future. An agreement includes both verbal and in writing. We may not accept anything of value from an agent. It is important to remember that as student athletes, friends, and family members are held to the same rules. If any of us are contacted by any agent, we must inform our coaches immediately. We may be risking our eligibility if we receive payment or play, participate as a professional, accept cash prize, or participate on teams other than the SDSU teams during an academic year. You may not allow your name, image, or likeness to be used to promote or endorse a product, service, or goods, including your own business. Participation in community service and volunteer work is permissible. While businesses cannot use your name, image, or likeness, exceptions include institutional conference, NCAA, educational, or charitable participation. We may not miss class and cannot be paid for such participation.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. There's a drive to the left. Let's see if that has enough. Going back is the left fielder, Willis. It's gone! Molly Sturdivant pulls one down the left field line, a 2-run homer. And San Diego State has jumped out in front 3-0.
Coaches can bring recruits to campus either on an official visit paid for by SDSU or an unofficial visit paid for by the recruit. If you are deemed a host for a recruit on an official visit, you may be provided with $40 per day for entertainment. Entertainment may take place within 30 miles of campus. A recruit's visit to campus cannot be publicized, so remember not to take pictures with the recruit or post them on social media.
Ground ball left side, that's through to left field. Kellewick scores. Here comes Atkinson. He's gonna score. There goes the runner. The ball is bounced to the second baseman. Trejo will scoop it, throw on to first. And for the 4th time in the last 5 years, San Diego State will be participating in the NCAA baseball tournament.
Before transferring to another college to play a sport, you must receive written permission from the compliance office to have recruiting conversations with other coaching staffs. There are additional restrictions with particular sports and conferences that may include sitting out a year.
Everybody knows this right here. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, everybody sing along.
Athletic aid agreements may be increased at any time and can only be canceled during the academic year if we render ourselves ineligible, quit the team, or break NCAA conference, SDSU, or team rules. We must report all outside scholarships to the compliance office.
And just trying to make the tough pass that wasn't there. Now that is better than a bad pass. That is the sweet stroke of Lexi Thorderson. Not that time. Bostic rips away the rebound. Tough catch and a great finish by Mackenzie Ford.
An extra benefit is anything that is not available to the general public or student body. Accepting extra benefits is prohibited. And remember that your family and friends may not accept gifts or discounts on behalf of the student athlete.
All of the awards or gear we receive from SDSU, the conference, or NCAA may not be sold or traded for any items of value. If any of the equipment or gear issued to us has become damaged, those items must be returned in the equipment room. They may not be returned or exchanged at any sporting goods stores or Nike's online services. While we can autograph items for fans, we cannot receive payment or gifts for such activity.
There are limits on the amount of hours per week and day that student athletes may participate in countable athletically related activity, or CARA. Countable activity includes things such as practice, games, film sessions, and team meetings where your sport is discussed. On game days, all game-related activity that occurs is counted as 3 hours for CARA purposes per NCAA rules. In-season sports can hold countable activity for a maximum of 20 hours per week, 4 hours per day, and must have at least 1 day off per week. During an in-season vacation period, countable activity is generally unlimited, except for 1 day per week when physical activity is prohibited. Out-of-season sports are limited to a maximum of 8 hours per week, and 2 of those 8 hours may be used for skill instruction. There must be at least 2 days off per week, and during a vacation period and final exams, countable activity is prohibited. Some sports have the safety exception, which allows coaches to be present during voluntary activity for safety purposes. Voluntary activity is permitted at any time and cannot be reported back to the coaching staffs, and attendance cannot be taken. The NCAA has recently adopted additional rules dealing with student-athlete time demands. Additionally, SDSU has enacted several policies dealing with student-athlete time demands. The rule and policy changes are the result of years of collaboration with the NCAA, athletic conferences, schools, and the NCAA Student-Athlete Advisory Committee. They are designed to provide student-athletes with clarity in regards to the amount of time that will be required for their sport and other related activities, as well as to ensure that student-athletes have sufficient time to achieve academically, athletically, socially, and in leadership roles. Therefore, there are now additional activities student-athletes may not be required to participate in during days off. These days are referred to as Required Athletic-Related Activities, or RARA. After completion of the championship segment of the season, student-athletes must be given 7 consecutive days off. Please note, on all days off, academic and health-related activities may be required. Additionally, required athletically related activities may not take place for a continuous 8-hour period between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. with some exceptions. Lastly, head coaches are now required to provide student-athletes with monthly installments of daily schedules prior to the first day of each month during the academic year. If there are any significant changes, the coaches must get them approved by the sport supervisor at least 24 hours prior to the change occurring. That's a lot of info. Please let the compliance office know if you have any questions. Thanks, and go Aztecs.
The underneath portion of the crossbar and stayed out. Travis Nicola, wow, there's a shot and a score, a cannon by Nicola, turning and firing from 25, 30 yards away, bearing it in the upper left corner. Whoa.
We are allowed 5 academic years to use 4 seasons of competition. Participating in even 1 minute or 1 play during a contest counts as a season of competition. If we suffer a season-ending injury or illness, we may qualify for a medical hardship waiver to get the season of competition back. You may be risking eligibility if you compete for any outside team or unattached in events during the academic year. Some sports even have limits on how many current student athletes can participate on the same outside team. Remember to complete the outside competition approval form on ACS prior to participation.
Big cross pass to Carrillo. She kicks it in the net and finds a cross cage opportunity. Diacono gets it out of sight. There's it, banging it down. It's number 16.
The SDSU sports medicine staff, the NCAA, and the conference office can drug test a student athlete at any time. The NCAA has a separate set of consequences than SDSU. The NCAA penalties for positive drug tests are strict and automatic. First offense, a student athlete who tests positive for a banned drug other than a street drug shall be withheld from competition in all sports for 365 days and shall lose a year of eligibility. A student athlete who tests positive for a street drug shall be withheld from competition for 50% of a season. Second offense, a student athlete who tests positive a second time for the use of any drug other than a street drug shall lose all remaining regular season and postseason eligibility. A student athlete who tests positive a second time for a street drug shall be withheld from competition for 365 days and shall lose a year of eligibility. SDSU policies include fines and suspensions. Please contact the sports medicine staff for the full list of penalties. If you do not show to a drug test, you automatically fail and are subject to consequences. Contact the athletic trainer before taking any protein powders or other substances to review the ingredients.
And a good start for Anisha Burks. Burks leading right now. Henderson's got some room to make up. And there she turns on the afterburners. It's Henderson winning the heat, and I think Panisha Burks just outleaned Shayla Sanders of Florida for second place. Henderson running 11:25.
We got the key to the streets. We got the key to the streets. Hey, we got the key to the street. Yeah, we got the key to the streets.
All of us as student athletes are prohibited from wagering on any NCAA-sponsored event at any level. This includes amateur sports through professionals and includes all sports that the NCAA sponsors, not just the ones we have here at SDSU. A wager includes putting anything of value on any part of a sporting event with the possibility of winning anything of value in the end. Please remember this includes fantasy leagues and brackets. Personal information about student athletes such as academic issues or injuries cannot be provided to any individual for wagering purposes.
I'ma flood that with more key than a piano. Yeah, all these say they love me, I'm so handsome. Yeah, they know about Lucci going out soon, they gon' tell you, yeah. I got money way before the deal. With my new pair of heels. I might pay a bill. Yeah, we were talking.
In ticketed sports, each student athlete may receive up to 4 tickets for friends or family members that are administered through a pass list. Please remind your guests to bring an ID and that these tickets cannot be sold or traded for anything of value. Thank you for your time spent reviewing NCAA rules. If you have any questions, contact the compliance office at any time and follow them on Twitter at AztecCompliance.